Hey everybody, Nick here. I've got the craziest camera setup ever, so at any moment this camera could come crashing down. I've got duct tape to the T over a bucket over 2 plyo boxes, so it's pretty crazy. But anyways, I wanted to just talk a little bit about what I've been seeing as far as trends go in our mental skills one-on-one training sessions that we've been doing. They've been awesome. And so I'm a therapist. I've been a therapist in the state of Oklahoma for 9 years now. And I, started doing family therapy with kiddos in foster care and learned so much. And so when I decided to go all in with my lessons and start really helping kids from that point full time, it's hard for me to look past the family unit, the support system behind it, especially a pitcher, right? Because the pitchers that we see, they're in lessons. Parents are investing quite a bit, especially if you're more competitive. I know that there's like pressure out there as a parent to keep your kid in lessons, to make sure that they're, doing all the things they need to do, agility work, strength training, hitting lessons. There's so many different things or avenues that you could go. What's funny and just interesting is through this mental skills training, it's for your athlete, but we absolutely ask the parents to join us. And there's just been so many different kind of trends. So we have parents that it's new for them. They've had, this is their first kiddo in competitive travel ball, and they're trying to figure out, how do I support my kid? How do I coach them, encourage them, get them to go practice, but not be a drill sergeant, not be coach all the time, also be mom or dad sometimes. Like, how do I walk that line? It's tricky and it's lonely out there. I mean, I feel like the travel ball world can be pretty vicious as far as like gossip. Who knows? You guys have all been there. It's always been there too. It's never going to go away. Parents talking stuff, coaches talking stuff. It's just part of it. The politics of it, I know that it exists for sure. Then we have the parents that, give everything possible to their kiddo, to their athlete. So they're, lessons 2 times a week, agility training, mental skills training, strength training, CrossFit, like all these resources, right? And what's missing is the athlete doesn't really own it. She doesn't really feel like it's hers. So it's more of like, well, I'm doing this lesson because my mom and dad want me to go. An athlete that feels that way is not going to buy in. They're not going to own their own progress. It's easy to just kind of check out and not show up, and maybe I get something out of it, maybe I don't. If I'm in a good mood, sure, okay, great. If I'm not, whatever, I'll get to go next week. It's no big deal. And when we talk about possibly, I'm the first one to be like, listen, if you show up to a lesson again like this, we're calling it. I'm not gonna waste my time with a kid that doesn't wanna be here. At the same time, I wanna teach. I want to use that as a teaching opportunity, because most of the time kids are like, no, I don't want that. And even the parents are like, no, I don't want that. And that's my first sign to be like, why are you upset about it? It's her lesson. It's not yours. And there's that pressure that parents feel like, well, if she's not in lessons, she's not going to perform. And if she doesn't perform, she's not going to start. And if she doesn't start, why are we playing? And all of these, it's easy to go down a rabbit hole and snowball into these potential what ifs kind of thing. And so a lot of times I'll say, yeah, what if you don't play? What if you don't go to lessons for a month or 2 months or however many months, right? If you've got an 11-year-old kid, 12-year-old kid, it's not going to hurt them. It's not. It honestly helps them see if they really want to do it, and will help you see if that's something that your kiddo really wants to do, or if it's more what you want them to do. It's a tough balance, because when they're young, if you give them the option, and young, I'm talking like 11, 12, that sort of thing, before high school, if you gave them an iPad, they'd sit in front of that thing all day. You do kind of have to push a little bit when they're younger at that age. By the time you have an athlete in high school, they should be starting to get it. They should be starting to kind of feel that fire and see like, oh, when I practice, I do well, and start to drive the bus a little bit. So by the time we're a senior, if we're looking at colleges, they're in charge of that. They're asking you guys as parents for help, for feedback, for that sort of thing, but they're the ones driving the bus. You guys are more support at that moment. So again, it's like as they're younger, you're kind of driving the bus, but you have to also help them love it. It can't be something that they hate. Otherwise, they're gonna check out on you and they're not gonna wanna do it. They also have to own their progress and they have to own their failures. So here's my other like kind of trend or type of parent that I see is the parent that rescues and saves their kiddo from any sort of failure or pain or, you know, coach getting onto them, a teacher. But when that happens, the athletes we get take no accountability, very little. You know, I mean, those are the athletes that I get as pitchers that are constantly blaming the umpire, constantly blaming the pitches that were called. Well, if we would have called this pitch, I would have thrown it better and we would have struck her out. We would have won the game. Not owning very much in their own part of the loss or whatever it is. And if you don't own your mistakes, you don't get better. So it's very important for your kids to feel the mistakes fully as their own. It's also important that they don't go home beating themselves up for days over a mistake. So that's where you guys come in again. Parents, you guys have to really keep a good pulse on that and make sure your kid is taking accountability, but not just holding themselves hostage by beating themselves up. It's a tough balance, you guys. Oh my gosh. But I say this to a lot of our parents. You want your kids to fail young at stuff like this. You don't want to protect them their whole life, you know, and maybe they're a great athlete, right? But if they don't own their mistakes and they get to college ball and you're not there, it is a rude awakening. They are not prepared for that world to figure out how to own their mistakes and get better and fight through some adversity. And my gosh, freshman year of college, that is what a lot of it's about, learning so much from the softball aspect, from a life aspect. It's the first time you're away from home. It's a lot. So think about that a little bit. You want your kids to fail young. Let them feel it. Especially the younger they are, the more resilient they are. It's crazy. They just bounce right back and they're ready to go. So I know this was kind of a fast overview of it, but man, there's so much I could go into as far as like how important you parents are in your athletes' mental and emotional development, physically as well. But to me, that's the easy part. Like anyone can go out and do reps. Anyone can go out and, you know, work on mechanics. But how do you teach a kid to be emotionally sound, hold themselves accountable, but not beat themselves up, own their mistakes, and be motivated to get better, right? That's the kind of athletes that you want to develop. And I say develop, but I really mean raise, because this is you guys as parents and your role in this. So if you're a parent that feels like you could use some help with this and your athletes, you know, showing some of these signs that we're talking about, I feel like this is a great opportunity for you. So reach out. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Be Complete Athletics. You can find me on Instagram, Coach Nick Dennis. Message. We're happy to help you. We can only take like a select amount right now, each like 6 weeks or so, but we're working on finding ways to make this a bigger thing. So, all right, have a great day. Let me know if I can help. Bye.